Hello. It's been quite a while since I've done a video. Got a new puppy. He's taking up all my time. I'm Danielle and welcome. I like to do content on autism. I was diagnosed late in life at the age of 31 with autism, and this has drastically freed me. It's freed me, this information of being diagnosed. Let's talk about what that means. What do I mean by having this diagnosis and it freeing me? Prior to my autism diagnosis, I was diagnosed with being bipolar, just lots of other things, lots of medications. None of the medications seemed to work. Yeah, they kind of numbed me to the world, but I don't want to be numb to the world. I want to function in society. I want to feel like I belong. I want to feel like a productive adult in society. And prior to my diagnosis of having autism, I just was drastically failing. I felt like I failed in every social situation, and I just couldn't understand why. When I reached out to family or friends, they didn't really have an answer, but they did agree that I was definitely failing on the social aspect, and I just couldn't fit in. After getting the diagnosis, it has really made me just love who I am and accept it. I I like to do LARPing, which stands for live action role play. And this is like, the characters that dress up in costumes and, fight and stuff like that. You kind of see them at the park and stuff. I've always been ashamed of the things I enjoy because they weren't, I don't really know the right words for it to describe it, but it just wasn't like mature activities for people my age. And I was always embarrassed and ashamed of this. After my autism diagnosis, I've really just embraced who I am and what I like, and have just really come to be aware that it's okay to like things, even if you're the only one who likes it in your age group. It's okay. If it makes you happy, just do it. I also no longer push myself to be in social situations when it makes me nervous, it gets my anxiety going. My words tend to start to like trip over each other. And this is a huge, my baby, this is a huge problem I had. I just felt like my vocabulary wasn't good enough and I was being made fun of. And I just didn't like that. Knowing that it's okay to just want to be by myself is a huge relief to me. And I don't know why it took doctors to tell me that I'm autistic for that to sink into my brain. But if you have a daughter or even a son that's on the spectrum and they really like to be by themselves, like when they play, they seem to just kind of play by themselves versus in a group, it's fine. Just leave them. That's how they want to interact. To me, that is interacting. I can still see people around me. Why do I have to physically interact with the group if I'm still content by myself? I personally find this strange because the way my brain works, that's how I like to be. And a lot of people think that maybe people who fall on the spectrum are very selfish when they do that. And that's not it at all. We're just unaware of other individuals around us. And sometimes it can be very overwhelming. Knowing that I don't have to always interact with the group has been life changing. I just went camping over the weekend, and we had like a little gathering, like everybody was in a circle, and I didn't want to be part of that circle. It gave me anxiety. I have a puppy. I didn't want to be part of the little circle group, so I sat off into like the distance, but I could still hear everything that was going on. And prior to my autism diagnosis, I would have forced myself to be in the circle, and it would have overwhelmed me, and I would not be paying attention to what was verbally being said because I was so nervous of all of the people. But now that I know that I am like this, and I have, I can tell people, hey, I'm okay over here. I want to participate, but over here, this is where I'm comfortable. I can retain the information now. And it's great. Life has been so much better, especially when it comes to socializing. I'm able to be like, hey, I have autism, and sometimes the things I say are very blunt or can be taken as very rude, when that's not what I'm trying to do at all. Prior to the diagnosis, I was very blunt, and I would hurt people's feelings. It's not intentional. I just don't know how to add a bunch of words to my questions when I can just ask something very bluntly. And this does affect a lot of people on the spectrum, especially if you are verbal or high functioning autism. Communication is very, very hard. And a lot of people think we're very blunt and rude, and that's not the case at all. Just the way we ask questions are a little different than our neurotypical peers. I hope any of this has helped you guys. Let me know if it's like freed you guys after your autism diagnosis. I love who I am becoming, and I really actually do have a good support system. And doing all of these things, going to groups with other people who happen to fall on the spectrum, is great. I am able to socialize with other people. I love doing crafts, and forcing myself to not do crafts because I was embarrassed, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You are who you are. And if that means having an autism diagnosis to help you just love yourself, go seek that out. Maybe it's not an autism diagnosis. Maybe you just have ADD and you're just, a little bit spazzy. Nothing's wrong with that at all. There's lots of forms of being neurodivergent. You don't have to be autistic to be creative. That's definitely not true. I just thought it was something to be ashamed of when it's definitely not. It's a skill that I can use. And I mean, if I wanted to make a business, I could definitely do this with my craft hobbies. I just really love doing stuff like that. I'm no longer ashamed of it. If you guys like this kind of stuff, please like, subscribe. My baby. This is Nazca, by the way. I needed something to love and to care for, and I love him. He's my best friend. He's just the love of my life. It takes up all my time right now because he's a puppy, so he's pretty destructive. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys are doing on your spare time and after you have been diagnosed with autism. It's been freeing to me. I'll talk to you guys later.